We all kind of know that our mental health systems are struggling. But what if the problem isn't just about money or not enough staff? Today, we're digging into a pretty radical idea. What if the whole system, the very architecture of it, is based on a fundamental mistake in its own logic? So let's start with this question, because it's at the heart of everything we're talking about. It's asking us to think differently. Maybe the problems we see aren't just a bunch of isolated incidents, but symptoms of a single, deep, structural flaw that's been there from the very beginning. And here it is. This is the central claim. It's not saying the system is evil or that people in it don't care, not at all. It's saying the system is, well, it's incomplete. It starts a process, It sees a problem, it gives it a name, it does something about it. But then it just stops. It never circles back to ask, hey, did that actually work? Or why did this happen in the first place? It just doesn't finish the thought. Right, so let's get into what the source material calls this incomplete system. And this is so important. We're talking about the architecture here, the blueprint. This isn't a critique of the doctors, nurses, or therapists who are working their hearts out inside this flawed structure. This is about the structure itself. This lays out the core paradox perfectly. The current system is actually pretty good at the stuff on the left. If someone's in an acute crisis, the system is designed to step in, contain the immediate risk, and get things stable. But look at the right. It systematically, predictably fails at the things that actually lead to lasting wellness, like figuring out the root causes, helping people keep their sense of control, and actually reducing harm in the long run. So to really understand this, the source gives us this powerful metaphor, the half-turn machine. I want you to picture a piece of industrial machinery. It's big, it's powerful, and it's designed to do one specific thing. It turns, but only halfway. It only ever completes half of its cycle. So here's the formal definition of what that machine does. A half-turn system is built to jump into action, but never actually finish the job. It's designed to hear an alarm bell, the symptom, and its only job is to run over and smash that bell with a hammer to make it stop. It's not designed to ever look for the fire that's setting the alarm off. And this is exactly how it works. It's a one-way street, a simple three-step process. Step 1, a problem is observed, a symptom, a behavior. Step 2, it gets a label, a diagnosis. Step 3, an intervention is applied. Medication, maybe containment. It's clean, it's efficient, and it looks great on a spreadsheet. But here's the absolute kicker. The whole process just ends right there. There's no step 4. There's no mechanism that asks, okay, but did that intervention actually help in the long run? A year from now? 5 years from now? Why did this person end up here in the first place? And if our intervention failed, what can we learn so we don't make the same mistake again? The system is literally designed without a feedback loop. It can't learn. So what happens when you run a system like this for decades? Well, the bad outcomes we see aren't tragic accidents. They're not surprises. They are the logical, predictable, inevitable results of the machine working exactly as it was designed to. Now, to really get why this happens, we need to understand two competing versions of reality. First up is what the source calls administrative truth. This is the reality that lives in the paperwork. It's the diagnosis codes, the risk flags, the billing information. It's clean, it's fixed, it doesn't change, and this is key, it's legally defensible. And then you have the clinical truth. This is the actual truth. A person's life, it's messy, it's complicated, it's always changing. It's the story, the context, the trauma, the relationships. It's all the nuanced, ambiguous stuff that makes us human. It doesn't fit neatly into a checkbox. So what happens when these two truths collide? When a person's messy reality doesn't match the neat story in the file? Well, the system, by its very design, is built to trust the paperwork every single time. The administrative truth always wins. And that leads us to our first predictable failure, the coercion cascade. This isn't about one person making a bad call. It's a slow, predictable, step-by-step drift. The structural pressures of the system, like trusting the paperwork over the person, inevitably push care down a path from voluntary support toward involuntary control. It's a cascade. The second predictable failure? The polypharmacy ratchet. Think of a ratchet wrench, it only clicks in one direction. It can tighten, but it can't loosen. In a crisis, it's really easy to add a new medication, but the system has no built-in process to ever review, question, or remove it. So over time, the medication burden just clicks upwards, and it's structurally almost impossible to bring it back down. Okay,
So that's the problem. It's a big one. So what's the solution? Well, the source argues that it's not about just trying harder or adding more money to the same broken machine. It's about a complete architectural correction. It's about building a better system from the ground up, a full-turn system.
And a full-turn system is designed to do everything the half-turn system doesn't. It's built to complete the entire reasoning loop. It traces a problem all the way back to its source. It measures success based on long-term human outcomes. And maybe most importantly, it has a feedback loop. It's designed to learn from its failures and get better over time. This right here is the fundamental shift in thinking. The old half-turn logic sees a symptom as the enemy, as the target. The goal is just to suppress it, to smash that alarm bell. But full-turn logic, it sees that same symptom as a valuable signal. It's a clue. It's a messenger telling you that something deeper is wrong. And the goal is to understand that message and resolve the actual fire. This new architecture isn't based on wishful thinking. It's built on a set of hard-coded design principles. These are described as non-negotiable. This system must complete its reasoning loop. It must use the least coercive means possible, it must preserve a person's agency, and it must be set up to learn and prioritize actual human outcomes over just, administrative neatness. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but maybe a little idealistic, right? A utopian fantasy. But the source is extremely clear on this point. This is not a fantasy. It's framed as a practical, achievable engineering project. And here is the core, falsifiable promise. This is the central claim of the whole idea. It says that if you build a system based on these full-turn principles, the worst outcomes we see today, coercion, people being stuck on tons of meds, long-term disability, all of that will go down. And get this, it will happen without making society any less safe. This source also takes great care to point out what this is not. This is not an anti-psychiatry or anti-medication argument. Not at all. Diagnosis and medication can be valuable tools. This is about re-architecting the system in which those tools are used. It's a critique of the structure, not the people or their tools. And this is absolutely crucial. Any system that depends on everyone being a perfect, tireless, well-rested hero all the time isn't a system, it's a prayer. This full-turn design is meant to be deterministic. It's engineered to produce better, more humane outcomes, even when people are stressed, rushed, and working with limited resources. It's designed for the real world. I love this line. It just sums it all up so well. This isn't just a document complaining about what's wrong. It's not a manifesto shouting from the sidelines. It's being presented as a blueprint, an operating system, something you can actually go out and build. And that really is the question that's left hanging in the air. If a blueprint for a better, more humane, and more effective system actually exists, if this is a real, buildable operating system, then what would it take for us to actually start building it?